Hi there guys, this is Cassandra. I'm a Riffle in Time and I'm so glad you're here. Today we're doing the end of the year tarot tag. This is from Chanel's channel. I love this tag. I love being reflective of my year at the end of the year, and actually this is the last day of the year, so I'm doing this kind of hoping to like one take it, no edit, post it today, but we'll see how that goes. I even rewatched the video on Chanel's channel last night and wrote down kind of a little bit of my answers. You know me, always kind of last minute changing my mind, but it felt good to kind of think about it ahead of time and maybe have some guesses at what's going to happen. Also, I have my new camera and mic, and so we're going to also be testing how this works. I'm hoping it goes well. A lot to do, but we're going to jump into it today. We are starting with the most used deck of the year, and I even went through my journal and my camera roll. I can't give you an actual winner. It's between Extraordinary Incantations and Outgrow Yourself. I use them both so equally. I don't have a good answer for you. But these are my babies. I use them more than any deck. Like, there was no others that I even considered like mentioning. It was definitely these two. And I wonder if, see if I can focus on them both at the same time. We'll see, but I use them differently, but the same at the same time, as like when I'm doing readings where I just want to be like really comfortable. It's like my go-to deck to really kind of talk to. It's going to be Outgrow Yourself, but when I'm doing like a just one card pull, like a single card, just need a little love and support, it's always Extraordinary Incantations. This is usually like I'm pulling a couple cards or I'm like having a conversation, but this is really like, I even did my year ahead with Extraordinary Incantations actually, and gave myself like a little kind of theme of the month for my planner for each month, just a little like the little phrase on there I put at the beginning of the month, and that was really, really cool. But I just go to them both so much. I really don't know. The only other deck that I used remotely as much actually, there's not even one that's like in a ballpark, I don't think. And I actually used Extraordinary Incantations quite a few times this year as like a pair, which I didn't do before. So I was using that for larger spreads, which was where I thought this one might have taken over. But then I did the same thing with Outgrow Yourself later in the year. I was working it into those pair ups. I actually just did a pairing video, so when you see that, you'll know what I'm talking about. But the next is my least used deck, or deck I didn't use at all. And I actually brought a couple out for this because there were quite a few decks that didn't get used this year. One that I kind of, upside down, one that I knew I wasn't going to use this year was Postcards. I tend to kind of it feels like I get in it with one or the other, and so like I'll be in like a vision season, and then I'll come back to Postcards for like a good, I think next year I want to try to start using Postcards again. They're so similar. I've even talked about like taking apart both of them and like making a master huge deck out of them, which would be chaos, but I feel like I've been more in sync with visions lately. And so again, I kind of knew that was going to happen. One that I did not expect, and I'll show you a little bit of the Mother Tarot. Postcards is out of print. I try not to show it too much. But the Mother Tarot was actually one I really wanted to try to use again this spring. It's my favorite spring deck, and the colors are just, spring has sprung. Like florals, there's this like really empressy vibes of this deck, I think maybe is what I pick up one a lot. I don't know. I just really, this is my spring deck and I did not use it. I don't think a single time. I even set it out to use it and I don't think I used it a single time this spring. In its defense, I had a couple new decks this spring that I was really like into. If you don't remember, that was when I got Zeke's and I was really obsessed. So we might chalk it up to that. But I have been historically using it less than normal. Another surpriser for me was Lifeline. This is the Color Outside Your Lines edition. This one is out of print. I used to use it really frequently as a pairing with Outgrow Yourself. I didn't use it a single time this year. Bizarre. And then one that I try so hard. I try so hard to give this another chance every time, and I just don't do it. I just don't do it. I actually pulled a card from it. Yeah, I pulled a card from it when I brought it out. But this has a new name. I don't remember its new name. Yeah, no, this is the Guidance of the Goddess on my end, but it has a new name now. I've talked about this before. This has been in declutter videos before. I keep being convinced to keep it. I keep not using it. I don't know. I have had trouble historically with like goddess decks and honestly even mythology decks in general. I don't have any like basis of knowledge about them, like of goddesses or mythology at all. So I kind of find it hard. I feel like sometimes I'm like out of my comfort zone with it, or maybe that's not what I mean, but I have a trouble like connecting. The deck that isn't usually your style and that I really ended up liking, that wasn't again my like style exactly, was Unicorn's Journey Tarot. I am not a super unicorny pink gal. Not that I don't love that, I just like, it's not my default. And I spent like a really long time probably trying to like come back to this. I remember always being kind of tomboyish and having this very deep societal idea that like girly things were inherently bad. So it took a really long time for me to get to a place that I would even use this deck and I like to buy it. And then I'm so glad I did. It is everything. It is such a beautiful, beautiful deck. I think I put it back in order for you. I love this deck. I find that all the like cards I pull from it are just absolutely delightfully so. And I've had a couple readings where like it felt very like, I was actually going to do a walkthrough of this, but I didn't end up doing it because I just feel like there's nothing I can say of value that has not been said, especially like, I feel like everybody's talked about it, and especially like being able to see Lisa's video. It's like, why would you care what I have to say? But I really do I love the cups. I think that the like blue-green vibe is what I live for. Where there's one card. It made me so sad. Just a little sad face. But again, there's so much here that I love. And again, it took me by surprise how much I really enjoyed it. I knew it was something I wanted to like support. I knew it's something I wanted to be a part of, but I didn't realize how much I was actually going to like it. So that's exciting. What's next? Next, we have my favorite deck pairing. I just did a video on this. I will not spend super long on this, but this is the Somnia Jonasa pair. I ended up saying in that video this was like my pair of the year, and I meant it. This pairing, it's just everything I wanted it to be. And I think one of the big things is like it always makes me want to use it more. Like not only do I think they really like connect together and speak really well together, but they also encourage me to use both decks more than I ever did. So I'm excited about the pair. Like, I really love it. And again, I think they really add value to one another. After I trimmed them, I trimmed them both like at the same time. And it just, by accident, kind of happened. I started using them last year and I just haven't stopped. This is definitely my favorite pair that I've been working with. Another one that I really enjoyed that I mentioned in the video were the like 4s that I did this year that were like the Reclaim, Lilifer, Outgrow Yourself Elvine, and then also the Spread Crafters, Color Visions, Circo, and Playful Heart. I really liked those a lot this year too. It felt like kind of a crazy event, but I really enjoyed doing it. Next is a deck mod, bag or accessory. So I'm gonna give you a couple. One, I don't know how to sew or crochet or anything. At the very end of the year here, I know enough to get myself in trouble, I guess. I know enough to like start. I did make myself a little bag for extraordinary incantations. It is not fancy. It's together by the will of my heart, but it just makes me really happy that I did it. I could not figure out how to do the triangle, so I just like did it at the top. I made my own button little situation there. I just made it up. I just did it. I just tied it there. I just threaded it through. And again, this is together by will, not by talent or know-how. I was going to make it no matter what. That was my favorite bag. I didn't buy any bags, I don't think, this year at all. I will actually take these off here. My favorite accessory, honestly, this is the Prisma Visions card stand that I carry. It's like this moonflower vibe. I love it. It's a 3-card stand, or in my case, right now, it's 2 really big oracle cards. These are altar size cards from the Celestial Bodies altar size. These are huge, but I'm keeping track of like the moon phase and the sign that it's in right now with this. And that's how I'm gonna start my little dibble dabble into astrology this year. Where's the other? Oh, there. But it has been one of my favorite card stands ever. I just really love it. It's really big, it's really beautiful. And my deck mod, I think my favorite deck mod this year, because I did the most of them last year, but one of my favorites this year, I did the yellowing on the edges of Outgrow Yourself. And the other one, I just realized I did not grab, but Tarot of the Sweet Twilight, I think I did at the beginning of the year. I did the edges. So I trimmed it down to this tiny, cute, sweet little babe. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with it. Look how, I'm gonna keep you out. I wanna play with you. But I love it trimmed. And then also again, I did the edges in this like matching kind of greeny color. And it's just, it's so good. And I have it in my little Moonlit Fae bag. Now you guys know I normally have a absolute ton of bags, but I didn't bag this year. I've actually been keeping them more in boxes so that I can keep my head straight of like what decks are what. Now if I get a tuck box, that's usually when I replace it, because you know how I feel about that. The next, my favorite deck backs. I have a couple out for this, and these were just the ones I thought of at the top of my head, but I feel like I couldn't just share one. My first instinct was the, the cards. This is so funny. The one I'm looking at is one way, the one that you're looking at is a different way. But these are the backs to the Phases in Forest. I love this. I have the altar cloth that matches these backs. I think these are one of my favorite backs of all time. I'm a moon gal. You know how I feel. And they're beautiful. I think they are absolutely gorgeous. This deck has been one of my favorite decks of the entire year. Lilifer is another one. I just really I've always been in love with the backs. They're just so beautifully colorful and so them. I don't know. Easily, again, the first 2 decks I thought of were those 2. And the last one I thought of, actually, the first time I saw Botan, it was the backs. It was the backs that I saw, and that's where I fell in love originally, are these backs. I find them just gorgeous. And those were my top 3, like, again, that I thought of immediately. I would have to actually look through all my decks to probably figure out my favorite in like true, but those were just my tops. A deck with a great theme. I did, oh, I skipped my most recent deck. That was number 3. Oh, geez. I'm gonna leave below the order of the questions, and I will just put it where it's supposed to go. Maybe, you know. Anyways, my latest deck is the Legend of Zelda Tarot, and this and the other deck are like my favorite themed decks, so this works. I got I think this is Lizard. Oh, come on. What is the name of the people who do this? I don't know. There's a bunch of different Legend of Zelda Tarots. This one specifically, you have to Lizard something. Gosh, why can't I remember right now? I'm usually pretty good at these things, but there we go. But this is the newest Legend of Zelda Tarot that I've ran into. I actually parted with my last one because I was having a really hard time connecting to their choices for the tarot with like my actual experience and knowledge of Legend of Zelda. Like some of the choices just felt really like they were just using a character or a place or whatever have you, like a moment for the point of like just wanting to use it instead of like actually making sense. Now, I have not got to work with this a ton since it's really new, but so far so good. Like, I think my first card from it was the Chariot, and I really liked the Chariot. The Legend of Zelda, this is the Breath of the Wild Major Arcana. I also got that from the Kickstarter. And so this was also really, really cool. But this is my latest acquirement, and it was a Kickstarter that I backed, and just really excited. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do here with like this, because I usually don't use a majors only deck. I don't know if I'm gonna add it in. I have not figured that out yet. Again, very new, but I am very excited about it. The themed deck that I wanted to share though, that was my favorite, was the Little Avatar Tarot. I got this absolutely because Maureen. I was watching the series and talking to Maureen, and here we are. I couldn't resist. I was like, there is a deck that is going to coincide with a series that I'm obsessed and in love with and that I will die loving. Of course I needed it. Yeah. Not only is it like Avatar, The Last Airbender, but like it's adorable, you know? It's so cute. And I don't know, I remember when I first watched the series, there's a part where they were talking about the different like the Fire Nation and everything, and like what fire represents and like the different elements represent. I thought it was really cool. I actually wrote it down. I want to find it because like I took notes and I'm like, this would be a great tarot deck. And then here we are. Next, we have have a deck you're in love with, and this was like a hard one because I feel like I normally have a deck crush. I obviously have like my 2 most used decks, and I'm obviously in love with them, but I was trying to think of something a little more emotional. I tried to take it really deep in that emotional place, and a deck that I'm in love with that I literally could just weep when I think about. I will never be able to like say in words how much this deck emotionally like connect. It's just like I don't even have to use it. I think about it and I just want to cry. I don't know. It's just like one of those precious things for me. Even if I never used it again, I would never ever get rid of this deck. There was not a reason I would never use it again. I was just trying to, like, you know what I mean? It's just like I would just hold it. If I stopped using tarot, I would still keep this deck. It just feels like love. It feels like just like sweet forehead kisses from my Nana. So, you know, it's just there. It's so beautiful. I love you. I'll hold it and take it with me sometimes just for the, like, to carry a friend along, you know? I just love it so much. A deck that I'm in love with in a different way, like no emotional, just like more of an obsessed, would be Bloodman. This is a deck that I'm in love with in a very different way. This is like that kind of awe kind of love. This is the kind where I have one copy and then I found a deluxe copy and I had to have that too, just in case anything happens to this one. This is I am following the Patreon of the creator and like supporting them every month because I just want them to keep creating. There's quite a few Patreons that I support, but this is another one that I could just look at, but again, it's in a very different way. Two sides of that coin, I guess, is what I was thinking. But yeah, I usually have a deck like crush where, again, I'm really infatuated with a deck and I just want to, like, I can't stop using it. But I don't know, right now I guess one of the decks that I'm kind of like that with right now is Phases in Forest. I am pretty smitten kitten with that. I'm trying to put this in there wrong. I don't know why. The deck after is an out of print deck you want. Now this one, actually, the one deck, like there's not a lot of out of print decks that I am like knowingly yearning for, thankfully. But one of the ones that actually I really can't think, there is one that's still out there and I haven't like pursued it super hard yet because, as I was saying earlier, mythology is something that is kind of lost on me because I don't have any, like, I didn't read about it in school. Like when I was younger, I didn't read books about it. I've never really like had that experience. But the Persephone tricolor, Persephone is one of the few that I have any knowledge / draw that's like previous to this time. And I ended up getting the deck originally. I had the Persephone tricolor back when I got my first deck. Well, my first 2 decks. I ordered Circo Tarot and the Persephone tricolor. They're from the same creator and I got them at the same time. I ended up passing along the Persephone because of what I said before, but I wish I didn't because it was, like, again, my first 2 decks. I want to know how I'd feel about it now, how it would connect now. Maybe it would inspire some like yearning to learn. I am reading some books this year that I think might be helpful. Again, I just haven't even tried yet. So maybe it'll be a different day. But the one deck I actually have really wanted for the entire time I've been into tarot, I wanted the deck while it was still in print, and I didn't know, this was back a long time ago, when, actually I don't even know if I had Circo yet, I don't know, but anyways, I was watching the videos about Circo Tarot and the Persephone tricolor, on YouTube. Naha was interviewing the creator, and, Marissa de la Pena. The random things my brain remembers, but I was watching a bunch of Naha's videos at the time. I really enjoyed Naha's voice, and I ended up seeing her do an unboxing of the Spoiler Tarot. And I was like, wow, that's beautiful. I'm gonna put that on my list. And I did, but like I ended up getting the other two first. Just happened chance that I got this first, and I just had started tarot, so like I didn't want a bunch of decks. So I was like, you know, what's the harm of waiting? Little did I know that indie decks were indie decks, and that out of print decks existed, and like I just didn't know things yet. I happened upon these videos very, very randomly, and I didn't know. I didn't know enough to know that I would spend a good bit of money more to get this. Now, this was a more reasonable priced one that I've seen. I ended up getting it at the very end of this year, and actually used it as like a little shop present for a very, very hard year of work. And I still don't want to touch it all the time because I'm so scared. It is a first edition of the Spoiler Tarot though, and it feels really crazy to hold. But here's the beaut. So the out of print deck that I want, I guess I have. So this is like the only deck I really have ever truly yearned for in a kind of way, where I think about it on a really frequent basis, and I just can't help it. I know, like, I've even seen people, it's like I don't understand why people are so obsessed with it, and like that people are willing to pay so much. Again, I wouldn't pay what the tops of what I've seen it go for. You know, like I've seen it very regularly go for like $800, $1,000. Like I couldn't do that. Like even if I wanted to, I couldn't do that. But I've waited for this for so long, and it actually is in really good condition. There's like, I think there's one card that might have like a little pen mark or something on it, which, you know, you've seen me. You've seen how I treat my Outgrow Yourself. No, I'm kidding. And then the guidebook, I've noticed with most of the Spoiler Tarots that I have seen that the guidebooks are a little, and I think it's because the box, like when you put it back in the box, man, you really have to, it's one of those tuck boxes that you have to make sure you're not jamming the cards into it or the guidebook, because this is just not it. This is one of the worst tuck boxes. I will say that. Even like in good care, this tuck box is like not, it's like the glue stopped attaching on one side. It just like doesn't want to. It doesn't care. And it's just really a pain in the, I'm gonna get a protective, I think, situation for this, because I can't keep doing that. It stresses me out. Another reason why I probably don't get it out as much as is I'm so scared. I gotta let go of it. But which card sums up this year? Or a card that you like? Well, who am I gonna... I don't know what the... I'm trying to think if I could think at the top of my head what the moon card is from Botan. Wow, that's beautiful. So this year was my moon year. That was my card of the year this year. And you know what? I'd say it runs pretty true. I've had a lot this year that has been like really confronting, really like face to face with like fears and anxieties and my like limitations as a human, and kind of looking at things from a different way and trying to like find some way to like look at things that I've, you know the moon. Look at things that maybe you're ashamed of or you're scared of. Sorry, that's my son is not in school, but that is his alarm to get him off the bus. But yeah, it's been coming from the tower a couple years ago. This year is definitely better. I'm better for it. I wouldn't have said that probably at the beginning of the year, or I mean the middle of the year, that was quite right, but I'm working on it. I think, honestly, I was actually talking with a bunch of people about like the card of the year, and I think that I want to start really focusing birthday to birthday, because like thinking back, I think that's really where it makes the most sense. Is like, I feel like I wasn't quite to the moon until like more my birthday time. I felt like I was still riding that star towards the beginning of the year. And I'm still really working at a lot of what is in the dark will come to the light. The sun is my next year though, so we're hanging in there. My tarot practice reflection, this one I didn't write down because that would take way too long and I didn't have enough space. I will say in general, my practice is definitely had a weird year. The beginning of the year started off super strong. One of my tarot accessories, my journal, that's something I forgot to mention. This is the first year I ever did a dedicated physical journal to my cards, and I really loved that. And I've gotten there's been some really big steps in my practice this year, and like wins. There was like a big kind of off period, like rut period, that life itself really did, had nothing to do with my practice, but it's been coming back, and it's been coming back in a really beautiful, strong way. I've had the renewal. My practice has felt a little bit of that star hope, of renewal again. And I would say that I feel like I got rid of quite a bit of decks this year, and like I passed them along through the shop or like off to other hands that weren't quite fitting with me, which felt really nice, to kind of make some space for decks that I think are better fit. I still have some of that to do, but I feel like I'm getting better every year at determining what is for me more. Overall, I think my practice was better this year than it was the year before, and the year before that. It's growing, it's evolving, and I'm excited about next year. I'm going to do some kind of like astrology learning next year that might be helpful for my practice, and that will feel really good. Deck, I'm going to try to use more next year. I want to spend more time with some of my newer decks. I want to spend time with the Legend of Zelda Tarot. I'm very excited about that. You guys know that I really love the game series itself, and I do want to dedicate some real time to Spoilia. I want to dedicate some real time to the Spoilia Tarot and kind of get over that like fear of breaking it. I also want to work with the journey more this year. And yeah, I love you. I hope you have the most wonderful start to your new year. Mwah.